Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 14365 Southwest Stallion Drive here in Beaverton. Located at the front of the house. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. We are way far off to the left of the front doorway. In fact, that is the front left corner of the house right there. Line exits out the front of the home, but very near that corner, about 2 feet in from it. We're dropping into a 4-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Got some Indiana Jones style cobwebs going into there, good gracious. Anyhow, we're going to zero the foot counter out once we get back down to the base of the cleanout. Water is a-running, off we go. I am loving that you have a two-way cleanout here. This era of house, generally speaking, they're almost always directional. They force you one way. If you ever get a blockage back inside your house, you can't use your outside cleanout to service it. Very nice clean flow line too, right out of the gate here. Nice to see that. There's not a bunch of grease buildup in the line. It's a very common problem in a lot of households. Alright, looks like we're probably getting down to the bottom of a drop. We're probably going to see a transition right after we go through this belly here. It's a little bigger than the average transition belly. And we'll see here. We may actually have some kind of situation going on, potentially with roots. I'm running into some pretty good resistance right now. Actually, I don't even know if you have a belly here at all. This may be a root intrusion blocking the lineup. And at this distance out, this is about, if this was the age that I think it is, a lot of these houses transition to concrete pipe right around the right-of-way, and those transition joints are infinitely weaker to roots and especially root intrusions, than any other joint. Alright, we're going to let the line drain off here for a second, and hopefully we can get a better view here as to what's going on once the line drains off. Alright, line is drained out, and I just did a quick locate here while I was waiting for the line to drain. I'm going to see if maybe I can baby through this thing here or not. Unfortunately, the camera is not a drain cleaning implement. Sometimes you get lucky, but I'll only beat on this thing so hard here. But I am picking that locate up right around where the right-of-way typically is at. And this part of town, it's a very common location for a line to transition pipe materials. Yeah, that has the feeling of a root intrusion. I can't guarantee it, but I've done almost 25,000 sewer scopes and a lot of drain cleaning, and that's exactly what it feels like when you get a root through a line. Alright, I was able to push a little further into this. I moved my paint marking just a little bit. You're going to see two X markings right next to each other. The one that's closer to the street is where I'm currently at right now. I tried to wipe the other one off a little bit to... Anyway. I'm getting around, my depths are jumping around a little bit because of how submerged my camera is in just sewage and gunk and the depth. I'm getting somewhere around 8 foot 6 inches to 9 feet deep there. It's down there a ways. So in a situation like this, before digging, I would generally recommend you go the route of drain cleaning. See if you can drain clean that gunk out of there and get the line to drain, or at least to get a camera past it. I'm hoping that allows for the line to drain off completely through there. What we're hoping for there is you've got a pipe joint, that may, it could be a few different things. It could be an offset joint. You could have a just massive toilet or a paper towel blockage for all I know, but it's the level of resistance that gives makes it feel like roots. But if you do have a root intrusion, for instance, through a joint, and the joint is still true, it's not completely whacked out of place, in a lot of cases, especially with a 4-inch access point like this, if you ream the roots out, for instance, you can often shoot an epoxy liner through there trenchlessly and line over the pipe joint. But not knowing that's exactly what it is yet, we'll have to wait and see after it's cleaned out to see what's going on there. You do have a very large tree situated off to the left side of the property. And that's at the right-of-way location where you often will have a transition joint, which are your #1 joint for roots by a long shot. And you'll have to wait and see after that's cleared whether or not you have any standing water. Sometimes you get a combo of issues. You get a offset joint antebellum or a root intrusion antebellum. Let's hope the line there is still graded proper and you just have a single joint issue. And right now I'm going backwards inside the home. Updated all the way back in. This house just, it feels like a home that would have originally had cast iron in it. It might be a little newer than I'm thinking. All right, line's looking good going back into the house there. No standing water, offset joints, clean line going back in. I recommend the line be cleaned, then re-scoped, see what's going on. Also, obviously, to get past that point, we probably still got about 25 to 30 feet of pipe to go until we hit the main lateral. So where this spot's located here, so I get the camera cleaned up, it's basically straight away from this clean out access out in the front yard here. You'll see those white X markings there. If you were digging at that depth, it doesn't matter which marking you choose. You're going to open up a hole much bigger than that spot to do that. Hoping it's something that can be potentially done trenchlessly. And it may not need repairs at all. Sometimes you get a, cleaners coming through and someone's put a whole bunch of paper towels down the pipe, but usually the camera will push through those if there's not too many of them. After any repairs are done, if for some reason I'm not the person out here doing the rescope end of things, whether it's a trenchless style repair, assuming repairs are needed anyway, or a trench style repair, you want to make sure you do a rescope to check the work. If you're doing a dig on this thing, potentially, you want to make sure that rescope takes place after the line is buried. You want to bury it, get it compacted. Don't necessarily put grass or anything back down yet. Make sure it looks good at that point. Check for settling issues. If you scope the line when there's no weight on top of it, especially when it's 8.5, 9 feet deep, you're looking at everything in theory at that point. And you won't catch any settling problems till the whole thing's buttoned up.